entire predicament beyond the opinions I have on maybe we shouldn't be spending so much on death dealing. Like, sure, it's great that F-35s are flying overseas and lasering like brown children overseas and thousands of miles away instead of, being able to purchase medication or being able to get medication for free even. But of course, we always have money in the banana stand for the military-industrial complex. The bill now will head to the House, though, with Speaker Mike Johnson in a statement on Monday night that said, strongly suggested he may not take the Senate bill on the floor for a debate for a vote because it does not address the southern border. The Senate agreement did not include any additional money for the southern border after an attempt to pair them collapsed this past week. Chuck Schumer said in a Tuesday morning news conference that he hopes to impress upon Johnson how urgent it is for the House to act on the bill. Schumer said he hopes to speak to Johnson directly in the coming days. Democrats are championing genocide openly. Okay? Democrats, I repeat, are championing genocide openly. They are trying to outflank the Republicans from the right on the issue of genocide when 50% of the Democratic Party's voter base says what Israel is doing is an act of genocide. Think about that. 50% of the Democratic voter base thinks that Israel is doing genocide against the Palestinians. And while that's happening, the Democratic Party's organs of communication are proudly screaming that we need to give billions more to that same genocide. That is incredibly stupid. It's obviously morally repugnant, but it's also kind of dumb. Meanwhile, the only saving grace in the circumstance are the Republicans who will gridlock and obstruct no matter what. This is literally the grand bargain playing out once again. The Obama administration did this with Social Security cuts. They were going to cut Social Security. And the only thing that stopped the Obama administration from cutting Social Security was the Tea Party caucus and how interested they were in obstructing. It blows my mind that this is where we're at. Has pro-Palestinian sentiment even been this popular in the United States? No. But also, this doesn't even mean that this is pro-Palestinian sentiment that's popular. Half of Americans think Israel is committing a genocide in Gaza, but they also simultaneously think it's fine, okay? That's the thing you need to understand. They're like, yes, it's genocide, and yes, it's fine. That's oftentimes the actual position. And that's a terrifying prospect, but it's one that you have to reckon with if you want to understand how bloodthirsty and monstrous American small business tyrants can get. Just so you fully understand it. Meanwhile, we're also doing this while simultaneously Brandon is like secretly talking shit about Benjamin Netanyahu behind closed doors. It's absolutely idiotic. And that is precisely the reason why Biden can't even fully shift the blame on the Netanyahu, use the leverage he has as being the American government to stop giving any aid to Israel whatsoever and saying, you need to cut it out, Jack. It's the Mac attack, which he should be doing right now. Okay. But instead, he's doing this wishy-washy bullshit where his people keep leaking to the media that he's actually very upset about Netanyahu privately behind closed doors. Okay, well, you're also promoting a $96 billion aid package. $17 billion of it is going directly to the genocidal campaign of Israel. What are you doing? You look like you're asleep at the wheel. And that's precisely why, and I'm going to give you another number here. Trump, according to polls, has a 10-point lead on Biden on the issue of Israel. Americans, by a 10-point margin, think Donald Trump would handle Israel better than Joe Biden. A masterclass in politics, folks. Once again, we have bad policy and bad politics. The Democrats have done it again. Sit back and enjoy the show. Part of the reason why is because Americans are dumb as f***, and they think that whoever is president is uniquely incapable of whatever crisis, so they immediately blame whoever is president for the crisis, which in this case does actually make sense. The other reason is because Trump is not currently the president, and therefore they don't know how bad it could get because they don't think about it. They don't think that Donald Trump is personally responsible for a lot of the chaos in Israel right now, moving the embassy to Jerusalem, permanently recognizing annexed lands such as Golan Heights, which is Syrian territory, technically illegally occupied and annexed by Israel. And also, of course, the Jared Kushner-Abraham Accords, which are supposed to publicly normalize relations with all the Gulf states and whatnot with Israel, while completely sidestepping the Palestinian wants and interests in that process, which was understandably very frustrating for the Palestinians, which played a big role in October 7 and as the motivation in October 7. So, having said all of this, I do not believe that Donald Trump would be a better person to deal with Israel-Palestine than Joe Biden. I will never say this. I think he would be worse even. even if you can get worse. But it would literally be the difference between 100% Hitler and 100% one Hitler at that point. So it's marginal. It's a distinction without a difference. So why do Americans think that way? Well, it's because Biden is wishy-washy and weak. It comes across as he's an old senile man asleep at the wheel who keeps saying, come on, Jack, dial it back a little bit. And it's like he thinks it looks good. He thinks it looks good for the liberals, for the libtards who hear him go, he's trying his very best to stop Israel, but he can't do anything. It's like, it's not that he can't do anything. He can do a lot of things. He's doing a lot of things. He's doing a lot of things in the opposite direction. So all this does is make him look weak on the international stage to all of America's allies that we cannot rein in our attack dog. And also on top of that, domestically, it plays really, really poorly as well because people look at this and go, you're an old man, you idiot. Here, yeah, I mean, this is a good take as well. Breaking, Biden reportedly calls Netanyahu derogatory terms in private as frustrations grow with Israel. Like, what is he going to say, like anti-Jewish slurs in private? And then all of a sudden it's gonna magically fix the problem? Like, what do you mean derogatory terms? He's like, oh yeah, guys, hold on, dude. He's gonna drop a tactical K word, okay? And then all of a sudden it's gonna clear everything out. The f are you saying? What is this bullshit? Derogatory sounds like spin. Yes, they think, the Biden comms people literally think that this works, okay? The Biden comms people think that this makes Biden look good. It makes Biden look dynamic. He's privately very upset with Netanyahu. Come on, guys. He's trying really hard. By the way, the derogatory term apparently is that he called him an asshole, which many people have. He is awful. Look at what has happened to American culture, American commentary, American politics since, and this guy is not exactly infallible either, but President Dwight D. Eisenhower's military-industrial complex farewell address.
A vital element in keeping the peace is our military establishment.
Here, this is
our arms must be mighty, ready for instant action, so that no potential aggressor may be tempted to risk his own destruction. Our military organization today bears little relation to that known of any of my predecessors in peacetime, or indeed by the fighting men of World War II or Korea. Until the latest of our world conflicts, the United States had no armaments industry. American makers of plowshares could, with time and as required, make swords as well. But we can no longer risk emergency improvisation of national defense. We have been compelled to create a permanent armaments industry of vast proportions. Added to this, 3.5 million men and women are directly engaged in the defense.
By the way, it's only obviously ballooned since then, but this is the most important part of it, okay? We have created a permanent armament industry of vast proportions. These are the words you need to remember.
Of vast proportions. Added to this, 3.5 million men and women are directly engaged in the defense establishment. We annually spend on military security alone more than the net income of all United States corporations. Now, this conjunction of an immense military establishment and a large arms industry is new in the American experience. The total influence, economic, political, even spiritual, is felt in every city, every state house, every office of the federal government. We recognize the imperative need for this development, yet we must not fail to comprehend its grave implications. Our toil, resources, and livelihood are all involved. So is the very structure of our society. In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex. The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist. We must never let the weight of this combination endanger our liberties or democratic processes. We should take nothing for granted. Only an alert and knowledgeable citizenry can compel the proper meshing of the huge industrial and military machinery of defense with our peaceful methods and goals, so that security and liberty may prosper together.
Dwight D. Eisenhower, yeah. So there's another good quote from the Chance for Peace speech, that also known as the Cross of Iron speech, was an address given by U.S. President Eisenhower shortly after the death of Soviet leader Joseph Stalin. Here is the part that is important. A chatter also brought it up. Every gun that is made, every warship launched, every rocket fired signifies, in the final sense, a theft from those who hunger and are not fed.